Hi everybody, I'm here in the dentist. It's that time of year, the time we all know and love is a couple weeks away from Halloween, a time where we indulge in the joys of this spooky month and then get bored halfway through, but then get back into it a few days before the actual holiday. To plan ahead, I want to make the scariest costume possible. I'm already on a bit of a streak, but this year, I've been part-timing as a tooth fairy, and because of that, the dentists have been letting me hang out here and ask the patients for their inputs, though the results have been a bit more inconclusive than I would have hoped. I should really stop interviewing them mid-appointment. But while I'm on this spooky early Halloween high, let's take a look at what is in my 6th place of the scariest things of all time list. This is David Shannon. He's an American writer and responsible for a lot of beloved children's books like Duck on a Bike, among a few others. You may recognize his work and go, oh, he seems jolly, probably a cool dude, right? Wrong. First off, I don't trust anyone named David, and neither should you. They are mischievous people. They steal neighbors' packages, they double dip into chip dip, specifically the guacamole I bought for the entire table, and they go out of their way to push children down large flights of stairs. All Davids are in a super secret league of Davids. They plan their atrocities, and if you think otherwise, you're either a David or being blackmailed by a David. Never trust any Davids, except for David Pilkey. He made Captain Underpants. He's a treasure. He can stay. Now, typically one would think the author of an iconic children's book wouldn't ponder upon the ideas of committing international atrocities, but the subject of today is a special case. See, David Shannon is the author of the 1998 book, A Bad Case of Stripes, so you already know we're entering the mind of a sociopath. But in that same year, the first saga of David would be unleashed upon our world. In 30 pages, and with only 37 unique words being said in the entirety of this tale, we learn a lot about this little rascal of a 5-year-old. David streaks and runs booty nude outside, is not a picky eater, tracks mud in the house, is such a dirty freak that the water's brown, and plays baseball inside. There is no limits to his chaotic tendencies. What we see is already bad enough, but it's when we consider what we don't see that the fear of the unknown begins to arise. David consists of floppy, poorly maintained sausage limbs, 2 beads of void-like eyeballs, and a mouth with shark teeth guarding a black hole of a mouth. He is a being of instinct, acting out of nothing but seeing what's possible. I'm also pretty sure he has moderate reality manipulation, at least on himself. When he's torturing the innocent, his limbs become disproportionate and the lines and colors around him are unfinished, jumbled, ultimately relatively in silly Libra activity. But anyway, if you think the David horrors end here, well, no, it doesn't. Look at the YouTube bar, it should be around here, unless I want to try to go for the video with the record of the longest outro card. Which is actually what I'm doing today. Kidding, I'm not doing that today. Maybe some other time. But actually, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.5 unique books, 3 prequels, 5.5 sequels. Since day one, he's been a menace. As an infant, his first moments included being the bane of us all. He has provoked wars, his malice has traveled back in time and has been responsible for every historical assassination. Or at least I hope so, that would actually support this argument a lot. I feel like in terms of providing a lesson, these books are quite literally designed for babies, like smart babies though. These books can be informative, they offer opportunities for youngsters to learn things like senses, along with some shit they should knock off and kill off those little ideas rattling around their craniums. My favorite one is David Smells, where it's about teaching the 5 senses that people have, you know, see, smell, taste, hear, and feel. It seems like a good way to introduce these concepts, but that's not enough for David. Oh, no. The entire book has the narrator going like, these are your fingers. You use them to feel things, and they're very important to David, don't touch that! No, get away from that, you little lovable little scamp. Anyway, moving on to taste, this is why we eat certain things and why we have favorite foods. David, I swear to God! In these books, David is very much a reversed role model, existing the best way he can, as a worst-case scenario and teaching children via fear tactics as we see in the sequel books. Except for Uh-Oh David in 2013. This is the and-a-half book I was talking about earlier because it's really just a sticker book and a compilation of David's wackiest hijinks available with stickers that you can throw on him. Okay. The rest of them are entirely different tales, following Lil Davey around as he works together with his inner demons and dinks up everything available. At school, he's that one kid, the one that every class has, infamous for his actions, cutting in line, eating 37 metric tons of bubblegum, finger painting, you name it, he's done it. Now, typically, each of these books will have an ending that allows David to somewhat redeem himself, but this is the exception. In one day, David does an unfathomably high amount of devious activity, so much in fact that he has to clean the entire classroom and every desk. And somehow, as a reward for completing his punishment, David gets a gold star. Are you kidding me? That is anything but gold star behavior. This injustice makes me want to get a big block of ground beef and add 2 eggs, breadcrumbs, fried onion, soup mix, shredded cheese, ketchup, hot sauce, salt, pepper, and put it all together, throw it into an oven at 350 degrees for about 90 minutes, and then let it cool for another 15 because all this nonsense is putting me in a meatloafy mood. Oh, but it gets worse. David gets in trouble. Debatably the third worst thing to happen in 2001 only sees David lying and justifying his atrocities. This results in David inhaling a shit ton of soap. I didn't even know colors could get that dark, but his throat has gotta be like dark black. Now, I think this is probably an okay time to talk about it, but there is one thing that can tame this beast. Love. Yep, this isn't a bit. Each of these books end with an emotional embrace, and there are a few things to note here. Namely that this page art seems to get a bit cleaner, and all that is forgiven. But most importantly, David chills out because of his mom, who ends up typically being the one who's calling out all of his banana bread flavored bullshit. Though, in the end, time and time again, she lowers the tension between the two of them, truly showing that the love between a parent and their child can allow anything to be forgiven. But I'm not a parent. And I'm not remorseful. I'm not part of David's family. I'm a third party, and me personally, I wouldn't let that slide. In fact, I still don't know what that teacher was on to give him a gold star. And there's another thing I should say is another one of his weaknesses. I lied earlier. There's actually 2 weaknesses. I forgot about the other one about 45 seconds ago. The one thing left that has acted almost like a guardian to David's wrath. That being tiny West Highland White Terriers, the literal kryptonite of this former fetus. We know at least 2 dogs are important in the No David story, that being Fergus, who is in fact a dog who does pretty normal stuff, and Roy, who is also in fact a dog who does pretty normal stuff, but I don't like him. It's really just dogs here, not too much to add, not even again during the next book in 2010 titled It's Christmas, David, in which he runs naked again and has a Christmas dinner, which to be fair, anyone would freak out at. This actually is a pretty bad dinner, but then he ends up on the naughty list. Oh, okay, wow, okay, yeah, he kind of deserved that, something more than a slap on the wrist. Good on you, Santa, I fully agree with your, it's a dream. Damn. Last book, Grow Up David. In 2018, up to this point, we knew the family consisted of 2 parents and a dog. But now we get introduced to his older brother, and out of all the books, this is probably the most normal, I would say. Don't get me wrong, David is still a little shit here, but it's not nearly as forced-ish. Nah, he and his brother are just up to goofy antics that go on across the book. No complaints here, I think. Just overall a pretty alright situation all around. So that's it in terms of the franchise. I'm sure this is gonna shock a lot of people, but going into the depth of the worlds of moderately niche children's books with limited vocabularies don't often last too long. And that's good to an extent, because to be honest, I really don't like reading. I just genuinely, I just don't know, I don't like reading. What can I say? So I wanted to go a bit further, and I stumbled upon the official David Shannon site. This is where I stopped putting a triangle block into a square hole and had a revelation. Do you guys think that an author named David Shannon, who made a book series where the main character's name is David, might be connected? Mind revelation, I know, insane. No, David is actually based on a true story. All of these wacky misadventures actually happened, probably at least. The official FAQ still proves that Davy's still being kind of a goofball, with questions like, how old are you? 170 pounds. What's your favorite color? Polka dot. What's your favorite food? Anything my wife cooks. And dark chocolate. Truthfully, the most important things that I can add here are that since the books act as a self-insert, the books take place in the mid-1960s. In other words, David was likely a major motivator of the Cold War. But also, not everything done in these books were actually done by David, only confirming that this shot, one of the most impactful pieces of art in modern culture, right across the Mona Lisa and the one where the guy is touching the other guy. I forgot what that one's called. This was actually committed by his nephew in Alaska. You thought the Santa stuff was as bad as it got, but no, this is like one of the worst betrayals I have ever felt. Really though, the book series feels like I was reviving some ancient evil, but really this expedition feels like watching a book club determine what eating a frozen Uncrustable tastes like, you know? Like, there's so many ways the meaning of this extended tale could be taken. Is it about love? Is it about telling kids not to do stuff? Is there no purpose? Really, I don't know. It's an author poking fun at his younger self and acknowledging how much they've grown from their old antics. I hope. Well, I feel like that's enough for today. Join me next time when I talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about for what I feel like has been forever. I hope you're ready for this one because I'm going in the most high-in-demand thing by far. I'll be going over the ever-iconic, you got it, I'll be going over the... Are you seriously interrupting me right now?
Breaking news. The individual responsible for breaking into homes and stealing teeth from local children has been identified as this extremely attractive, flawless thing. Anyway, we would also like to announce that a bounty of 50,000 USD has been placed on this person. In other news, a bear was recently sighted right over there. Should I be worried?
I gotta get out of here. Turn off the camera. We're done today. Bye.